Welcome to the hive, you bees. We have a bird today, Bebop. Oh, she just left. Come here. She left. And today we're going to have a, get over here, you critter. She's leaving me. She's abandoning the bumblebee. Yeah, we have Bebop in the beehive. Sorry about that. And today we have a really cool show. So if you like the show, go ahead and like at the bottom of the page there, and we can go ahead and start the show. We're going to have a really cool show today. And we have a special person we're going to profile. He's really a hot writer. He was back in the early days, the modern days of early day Speedway. And he was number 19. Do you know that number 19? She's a dancer. His name is Slidin' Sonny Nutter. Ooh, Sonny Nutter. Come on, dance for Sonny Nutter. Come on, dance. We're gonna dance. We're gonna dance for Sonny Nutter. She's dancing. She's a dancing machine. So I teach her all of her moves too, by the way. She learns it all from me. So we're gonna talk about Sonny Nutter today, and she's gonna keep dancing while we're doing the show. Sorry. And Sonny Nutter was born in 1945 in Santa Monica, California. And at the age of 13, Slidin' Sonny was just a young teenager. And he worked at a motorcycle shop in Santa Monica. It was called the Baldwin Motorcycle Shop. And like I say, it was in Santa Monica. And he was a young writer. He went and she's cleaning herself here. She wanted to take a shower. He was a young worker. He worked as a gunk cleaner. Do you know what a gunk cleaner is? A gunk cleaner is a gunk cleaner. No, I never heard of that word until I studied this blog. And a gunk cleaner is, I guess there's this like product called gunk. And then I guess Sonny Nutter, when he was 13, he put this gunk on his hand, and then he would spit on the gunk, like, and he would spit on the gunk, and then he would clean the engines of the motorcycle. Sonny Nutter was an early day detailer, and she's dancing, was an early day detailer of motorcycles. He was like thinking of motorcycles as he was wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. That's a movie. I think it's called The Karate Kid. I'm not sure. Wax on, wax off. Well, Sonny Nutter was a wax on, wax offer, and she's a dancing machine too. So Sonny Nutter was actually a detailer, and as he was seeing the motorcycles, Sonny Nutter was he was dreaming of being a motorcycle champion. He had a dream of being a champion. She has a dream of being a bird. And Sonny Nutter has a dream of being a motorcycle champion. And they both fulfilled their promises. She became a bird, and Sonny became a champion. So it worked out good for everybody. So anyway, he was a detailer, and he really made the motorcycle shine. He was a really good motorcycle cleaner. And he really wanted to fell in love with motorcycles. And back in that day, there was no speedway. So what did Sonny do? He went to Ascot Park in Gardena. Do you know Ascot Park in Gardena? Do you know? Give me a kiss. And Ascot Park, she's going to go ahead and take a rest for a while. She's worked hard today. Ascot Park in Gardena was where a lot of the early day Speedway or flat track stars, they were racing at the Gardena Raceway in Gardena, California. And Sonny would go like in the stands when he was like 10 or 11 years old, and he would watch all the races, and then he would study them. And then he would ask the riders, like, could you tell me how you go to the turn? Could you tell me how you start the races? He was like a student of the racing, and he was just a young boy. And then a lot of the professional track riders at Ascot Park, they would tell Sonny, like, oh, this is how you do it, and this is how you do it. And then a lot of the novice riders or the new riders, the local riders, would go ahead and give Sonny his their 2 cents too. So it was really cool. So Sonny really had this love in his heart for motorcycles. I always tell people that if you want to be a motorcycle motorcycle racer, you got to have the love in your heart. You know, like it has to be inside you. You can't dad or your mom or your friends. You have to have it deep inside. And Sonny Nutter had that, obviously. And he had a dream he was going to be a champion, and he won that championship. We'll talk about that. But in 1964, he raced at the half-mile track at the Sacramento. You want to see Bebop again? Here, say, hi, hi, she's so cute. I should go to the bathroom on my papers. And he raced the half mile at the Sacramento Fairgrounds against Mert Lawwell. Do you know Mert Lawwell on any Sunday? Mert Lawwell was an amazing rider, and Sonny was like competing and hopefully beating Mert Lawwell. I don't know about that, but let's just say he's gonna beat him for conversation's sake, okay? And we're gonna have a conversation show, right? We're shooting the bull about the truth of Sonny Nutter today. And Sonny Nutter, when he raced at the Sacramento Fairground, he proudly displayed the number 19 on his front plate. Sonny Nutter was number 19 from the very beginning, and he was a really great flat track rider. He rode the flat track, TT, short track, long track. He rode every track. Sonny Nutter was good. He was a good rider. And he rode the BSA Gold Star. Do you know the BSA Gold Star? And the Triumph racing bikes. It was like, I guess like 750s. I'm not sure, but they were big bikes and they were fast. I guess if Mert Lawwell was there, it was like a 750, right? And it was really cool. And he went ahead and just started becoming a gifted motorcycle rider. Anytime you have motorcycles, whether it's TT or Speedway or anything, you get better and better with more seat time. And that's exactly what Sonny did. He got really good with his seat time. And the same year that he was racing that half mile in Sacramento in '64, he went ahead to the El Toro Speedway. Do you know the El Toro Speedway, where all those $1 million homes are today? There's no more El Toro Speedway today because the land is very expensive in El Toro. And Jerry Fairchild, he went ahead and brought Sonny Nutter his first JAP motorcycle. And Sonny practiced and he rode his first speedway bike in 1964. So Sonny had this like advantage over a lot of the other riders. Why? Because he was practicing and he learned speedway way before all the modern day racers did. So Sonny was a cheater. No, just joking. Jerry Fairchild brought that bike, his bike, for Sonny. And well, I raced for Jerry Fairchild and he didn't bring me no JAP. I had to buy mine. So Sonny was a special rider because he got a JAP from Jerry Fairchild. And Jerry Fairchild hasn't really been talked enough about in the history of Speedway. And he was my sponsor, so I have a particular liking for him. And also he made my bikes go really, really fast. I wasn't really a great rider, but my bike was fast. So I was able to win a lot of races. Why? Because of Jerry Fairchild. Amazing. That guy was like, he started like in the 1920s or something. And the early 30s when the revival of Speedway, he was fixing Jack Milne, Courtney Milne, Lammy Lamarocks, and all these early day riders. And he was good. He was real good. So Jerry Fairchild deserves a lot of credit. And nobody hears about him except for right here. We're going to talk about him. So Jerry Fairchild went ahead and introduced the modern day Speedway. So in a sense, it was Jerry Fairchild who was bringing those early day J's to Whiteman Stadium and to El Toro so these riders could ride the Speedway. That's a little bit of history that most of you do not know. And Sonny Nutter even talked about that, about Fairchild bringing that first JAP to El Speedway. So it is true. It's from the mouth of sliding Sonny Nutter. So I know that is true. So anyway, Sonny Nutter went ahead and he was raced at the Whiteman Stadium when they started Whiteman Stadium. Do you remember the Whiteman Stadium? They were credited as the revival of the modern day Speedway at the Whiteman Stadium. That's where the Speedway really started, even though Sonny was riding El Toro. That didn't count. It was just like practice, right? But the races started at the Whiteman Stadium in 1968. Griswold, he went ahead and promoted that at the stadium. It was an arena outside the airport hangar at the airport, and Pacoima. Do you know Pacoima? Because I don't know that place. Pacoima. Oh, it's in the desert somewhere. I think Mike Bass and Steve Bass lived out there in the desert, when they were kids or something. But anyways, they had a third of a mile track. It was like a car track. It's like a pavement track. And Sonny Nutter was riding the TTs on side that third of a mile track. They were racing. And then also Sonny Nutter was riding the TTs at Ascot Park at the time, and he was becoming better and better. I mean, this guy was good. So Sonny Nutter had lots of practice on the T bike, and he practiced on the Speedway bike too. So when the revival of Speedway came in 1968 at the Whiteman, Sonny Nutter was a pro, and always he was at the top of the list as far as the riders. So a lot of riders like the Bass brothers came in, and they were kind of raw and fresh, and they had to learn. But Sonny Nutter, when they started the Speedway, was a seasoned pro. He had an advantage, so that's cool for Sonny. He was his top star right when Speedway started, and that's why Sonny Nutter is really a cool rider, because he was good. And he won the first California State Championship in 1968 at the Whiteman Stadium. Sonny Nutter fulfilled his dream, his childhood dream of becoming a champion in 1968. So anyway, so that was really cool. And Sonny was really a good rider back in that day. And he won that championship, the California State Championship. And so that was really awesome. And so the following year, they started Costa Mesa. Whiteman Stadium went out, and Costa Mesa came in with Jack Milne and Harry Oxley. And Sonny was there at the opening night at Costa Mesa. Sonny was an opening night racer. Of course. Would you expect Sonny Nutter not to be there? He was there. In fact, he was there for the next 10 years. Sonny Nutter was a fixture at the Speedway. And he really, great. And he went ahead and was interviewed by Larry Huffman and all these announcers. And Sonny Nutter, basically a really great rider. He said that in some nights when he did well, at the beginning. He had some really good rides. He went up to $2,000, he said, in one night. $2,000 in 1968 was a lot of money. That was like, $6,000, $8,000 today. That was a lot of money. So Sonny Nutter was making a lot of money. And he quit racing flat track. Why? Because they paid like $15 over at Ascot. And then he'd go over to Costa Mesa, and he would make, $1,000, $500, $1,500, $2,000 in one night. That was a good. Why can't we do that today? We make $2,000 for a main event win, sweeping the program and make $2,000. It's happening, but that was cool. That's why the early days success of the Speedway was so great, because there was a lot of money, and that was just awesome. Big money. So that's why he quit the TT, because there was really no money in TT, and Speedway was huge, and the fans were really, huge. And they actually had like 2,000 to 4,000 people when the Speedway started, and there was people like standing room only, and they had to kick people out because there wasn't enough seating for the Speedway. So Harry Oxley and Jack Milne had to add more and more seats. I think Jack Milne had a company or something or Gary Hicks or some one of those guys, where they built more and more stands because there was just not enough people. They had 4,000 stands, so they had to go to like 6,500 stands. I think that's what it is today. They kept it at 6,500, and it was full. So, and also the racers, they got 30 or 35% of the purse, I guess, because of the SRA was involved, and Jerry Fairchild was the president. I think, remember that. The riders got 30 or 35% of the gate. So let's say somebody pays $1 to get into the races. I forgot exactly how much they paid. Then the riders would get like 30, 35 cents every ticket sold. So that was a lot of money, really. And then also there was a purse. purse. So the riders would get 2 paydays. They would get the purse for if they won. If they lost, they probably didn't get anything. And then if they went ahead and did well, or actually if they did well, they get part of that gate money, and that was a lot of money. That's why Sonny said they made $2,000. That's just insane. And Sonny was able to like do a lot of stuff with that money. He was able to like buy a new house in Santa Monica, California, where he grew up. He was able to like raise his son. He had a child. He was able to have a good life. Why? Because early day Speedway was awesome. And Sonny Nutter was a big part of the early day Speedway, and he was really good. He was a legend. Sonny Nutter was a superstar. We love Sonny Nutter, and he was really cool. So Sonny Nutter raced, and he was really popular. You know, he raced EZY radio station. Do you remember KEZY radio station? It was in Anaheim, California. I used to listen all the time to Sonny Nutter at KEZY, and I used to go in there. I used to call in, you know, and win those free prizes. And then I would go into KEZY on Ball Road in Anaheim, and I would see Sonny Nutter's picture there as a Speedway rider with his uniform, and it said KEZY. I remember that because I was a little kid, you know, at the time. So Sonny Nutter was really popular. He signed autographs for hours after the races. He was really popular. Sonny Nutter is a nice guy. He would just go ahead and like talk to the people. He'd sign the autograph and he'd say, "How are you doing? And did you have fun tonight?" And you know, he would chit chat with every person. Sonny would like get personable and talk to him. It was really great. And Sonny went ahead at the end of some of the talks with the people. He'd say, "Oh, and don't forget to come back next Friday night at the Costa Mesa Speedway, and I will get 30% of the purse." Now, he didn't say that, but he was saying, come back, because we like the money. So that was cool. So they went ahead and they promoted the Speedway, and they made, you know, pretty good money back then. So that was cool. So Sonny was really a modern day, and Sonny was an early day heartthrob. Did you know Sonny Nutter was the first like glamour boy of Speedway? He was very handsome. He grew his hair out, so he was long, and he had that mustache, and he looked like Burt Reynolds. I think it was Burt Reynolds when he's hot and sexy. And Sonny Nutter had all the chicks after him. That was before Danny Becker was next, and then Bruce Penhall was after Danny. But Sonny Nutter was the first glamour boy of Speedway. That's cool. We like that one. Sonny Nutter was handsome. I'm not really into guys, so I don't really, you know these things. But Sonny Nutter was real popular with the girls, with the women, with the chicks. So we know Sonny Nutter was very popular, and I'm sure he had a lot of girlfriends back in that day. But he has a woman now, so we won't talk about that. We'll get him in trouble if we talk about his early day chicks. So we won't talk about that. But he was a heartthrob. And he went ahead and, like I say, signed autographs. And he sponsored a young rider. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He was kind of like a little bit famous, but I'm not sure. He's kind of he was a young 16-year-old rider at the time. And he was number 126 at that time. And now he's number 11. I'm not sure if you know this guy's name. His name is Bobby Boogaloo Schwartz. Bobby Schwartz. Do you remember that name? I mean, Bobby Schwartz was a 16-year-old kid going to Sonny Nutter's in Santa Monica, California, saying, "I would like to ride Speedway." Sonny Nutter looked at Bobby with his long blonde hair, a handsome guy, and he said, "Okay, you can ride one of my Speedway bikes." So Sonny Nutter was getting Bobby Schwartz involved in Speedway. So when you see Bobby Schwartz today, one of the oldest, longest racing Speedway riders in the history of modern day Speedway, it's Bobby Schwartz. He got into Speedway at age 16 by who? Sliding Sonny Nutter. So that's cool. Thank you, Sonny, for getting Bobby involved, because Bobby's a legend, and he's just an amazing guy. He had all those successes in the 80s with the Team America, with Penhall and Sigalos and all those greats of Speedway. And so that's really cool. And Bobby Schwartz, like I say, is an amazing rider. And he should thank Sliding Sonny Nutter for his start. So I always thank people on my start too. I'm sure Bobby thanks Sonny Nutter 1,000 times. So that's cool. And so anyways, so and also Bobby, Sonny Nutter, he sponsored a really good rider back in the 70s called Scott Sivage. And Scott was really good. He wore those white and blue, dark blue leathers, and he was sponsored by like Toyota, Datsun or something. I don't know. And he was good. You know, when Scott Sivage was on, that guy was unstoppable. And, you know, he was hot and cold. But when he was hot, I mean, Scott Sivage was bad dude. You know, he had that long curly hair and he was like cooking. Scott Sivage was a good rider. And Sonny Nutter got Scott involved in Speedway and sponsored him along with Boogaloo Bobby Schwartz. So that was really cool. Thanks, Sonny, for that. And after Speedway, Sonny, he went ahead and raced, like I say, for 10 years. And he raced for the Team America back in the early 70s. They had like a USA versus the world match. I was actually at most of them, and I took some pictures and stuff. I should have showed you some of the pictures I got. I made a mistake. Maybe next time. And I was like in photography class, and I was taking pictures of all these guys. And Sonny Nutter was the team captain of the USA versus the world. And Sonny Nutter went to like New Zealand, Australia, Israel. He was like team captain of America. Sonny Nutter was Captain America. Have you seen that TV show, Captain America? Sonny Nutter was the captain, so that was cool. Sonny Nutter was just a famous guy. He was really good and, you know, just an amazing rider. 10 years or 11 years racing Speedway. And he raced like 5 nights a week. He raced, you know, like the whole circuit, you know, Tuesday, Ventura, Wednesday, San Bernardino, Thursday, Irwindale, Friday, Costa, and Saturday, Baker's Patch up there north. And so, you know, Sonny Nutter was an amazing rider, and he raced in the team racing. He raced on the Ventura Sharks. Do you remember the 1976 Ventura Sharks? In Ventura, California. And his teammate was Boogaloo Bobby Schwartz. On the cover of this little thumbnail, you'll see Sonny Nutter and Boogaloo Bobby Schwartz racing for Ventura Sharks. That was cool. I put that on there so you would see that they were together on the Ventura as teams. And Sonny Nutter got Bobby Schwartz involved in Speedway like we mentioned earlier. So, and also after Speedway, Sonny went ahead and raced midget cars. He was a midget and sprint car racer. And she's a singer and dancer. And he was really good. He raced the Jimmy Oskey car and did really well. Of course, would you expect Sonny Nutter not to do well at any motorsports? He was sliding Sonny on the sprint car, and he was good. So Sonny Nutter was a midget and sprint car racer. And in 2014, Sonny went back on Ventura Speedway or the raceway track, and he was spinning hot laps just a few years ago on that midget sprint car. So Sonny Nutter still has that sliding in him. That's cool. That guy is cool. He's kind of like 70 years old or something, and he's still like flying around the track. And he was racing cycles in the year 2000, which wasn't, you know, years ago. So he was like 50 years old or something, over 50, and he was racing the 750s, the Trackmaster, and he was racing, and he got on the podium. So he was 50-something years old, and he was racing a 750 Trackmaster, and he was a podium rider. So Sonny Nutter never lost his ability to ride. I like that. He's cool. So Harry Oxley went ahead, and Sonny Nutter was actually the first California state champion in 1969 with the Revival Speedway. He won back-to-back California state champions. He was a 2-time California state champion in 1968 at the White Man, 1969 at the Costa Mesa Speedway. At the inaugural season of the Costa Mesa Speedway, Sonny Nutter won the California state championship. And he wore this like cowboy hat. I don't think I have a cowboy hat around here. I just have baseball hats. And Sonny Nutter, he wore this cowboy hat. He was a cowboy. You know, he's spitting on that gum, and he's wiping on motorcycles, and he's wearing that cowboy hat. Sonny Nutter was a man. Sonny Nutter was a real man. Sonny Nutter was cool, and he wore a cowboy hat. And Harry Oxley came up to him and said, "Hey, Sonny, could you take the cowboy hat off?" And Sonny's like, "Why? I like my cowboy hat." And Harry Oxley said, "I want that cowboy hat. I'm going to go ahead and bronze that cowboy hat, and I'm going to put it on a trophy for the Fair Derby. And every year, we're going to look at your cowboy hat. So when you see the Fair Derby, or if you win the Fair Derby one year, or if you won it before, that cowboy hat that you see was Sonny Nutter's cowboy hat, that big hat. That's Sonny Nutter's. I didn't even know that. I see that cowboy hat, and I was like, ooh, where did that come from? The Cowboys? From Scott Autry? No, it didn't come from Scott Autry. It came from Slide and Sonny Nutter. Scott Autry's a cowboy too, but Sonny Nutter was before Scott Autry's time. So Harry Oxley went ahead and preserved that hat as a memorable thing of the first California State Championship. So that was a cool bit of information there. So, and Sonny was an author. He spent like 3 years writing this book. It's called Dare to be Nutter, or Dare to be Sonny Nutter. Do you dare to be Sonny Nutter? I want to be like Sonny Nutter. I want to be like Michael Jordan. No, but I can't be Sonny, Mike. But anyways, he went ahead and wrote this really cool book called Dare to be Nutter, and it was really cool. It's like $29. He spent 3 years writing. Sonny Nutter said, "I'm not much of a writer," so he's probably a speedway writer, but not a writer like this. So he had probably help from people, and he accumulated a lot of his clippings and championships and his early day interviews with Larry Huffman and his early day experiences, some of his crashes at Ascot. Sonny Nutter, he compiled a really cool book, and it was really nice. And also he sells it at his website, sonnynutter.com. Can you remember that website address? Sonny Nutter, SONNYNUTTER.com. And he sells baseball caps like this, Sonny Nutter baseball caps, and he signs the books and the baseball caps with a silver pen, so you can see it on these. Because Sonny Nutter liked black. I like black. I like number 77. Where is it over here? And I like black. And so Sonny Nutter wore black a lot, and I like black too. That's a cool. There's my uniform up there, and it's black. So black is cool. Well, once you had black, you'll never go back, or something like that. I don't know. It's a joke. And so anyway, Slide and Sonny Nutter, he sells all this stuff, and he really has a really cool collection of his different memorability in the book. And also, he has like a business now. He restores motorcycles, vintage motorcycles from the early 60s to the early 70s. He has these really cool Triumphs, and he has all these specialty things, really expensive like carburetor. He has a beautiful shop in Santa Monica. I think it's by the airport over there somewhere. And it's a big shop, and he has lots of motorcycles. And he has a JP motorcycle. That's pretty cool. Beautiful, restored. You know, my bikes all had mud on them, and Sonny Nutter, he had the gunk. He cleaned those bikes, and they're pretty. You know, he had the gunk all over those bikes. You know, it's very shiny. And Sonny Nutter is a classic. He sells those bikes. He restores these beautiful classic vintage motorcycles, and he sells them. And do you remember that guy Barry from the Storage Wars? He came to Industry Hills a lot and was hanging out with all the speedway riders and stuff. Sonny Nutter restored one of Barry's motorcycles, probably a nice. So Sonny Nutter does high-end motorcycles. He doesn't do like little enduros. He does the cool bikes, the classic bikes, these really cool bikes. Sonny Nutter is an amazing mechanic, and he uses a lot of gunk, and he cleans those bikes. Sonny Nutter is cool. So anyways, that was the thing. He went ahead and he's doing those repairs and stuff. And like I say, he has a JP. He has a beautiful JP restored. He restores and makes these bikes beautiful. So anyway, so a little while ago, Sonny Nutter had like an amputation on his toe. He had melanoma. Melanoma is like from like the sun. You have some kind of like sun cancer or something like that, and then it's bad, And he had one of his toes amputated maybe a couple years ago or something, and that probably hurt, just having your toe cut off. And he went ahead after he had his toe cut off. He had an accident. He was playing tennis or something, something cool like that. And then he slipped. He rolled his foot, his ankle, and he totally destroyed his ankle. It's called the Jones fracture. Do you know the Jones fracture? Well, Sonny knows it, and it's terrible. I had a double Healy break before, and he had a Jones fracture, and it's bad. It gets you down like 4 to 6 months. And mine did the same. It took me down about 4 to 6 months, and it's bad. You have to learn how to walk all over again, or it's like you lose all your muscle in your leg and stuff. So Sonny Nutter had a couple string of bad lucks with his amputation of his toe from the melanoma and that Jones fracture of his ankle. That was really terrible. So he's recuperated and doing well, we hope. So, anyways. I was going to say a story, which I forgot to say in my blog here, that when I was 16 years old, Sonny Nutter was really cool, and he was like an older guy, he's a little older than me. And I heard he had his new house in Santa Monica, California, they talked about. And everyone's like, let's go to Sonny Nutter's party. And I'm like, okay. I was a little kid, I wasn't like a drink or anything like that. And I was just a little speedway rider, first year rider, Sonny didn't even know who I was. I'm just like a spit on the wall, gunk, cleaning that bike with the gunk. I'm like that to Sonny Nutter. And I went to Sonny Nutter's house, and the door was open, and I walked in, and Sonny Nutter said, "Excuse me, who are you?" And I said, "Oh, my name is Brian the Bumblebee, and I would like to come to your party." And he saw this little 16-year-old kid, and he goes, "You get out of my house! You leave my house!" I said, "Sonny, I'm a speedway rider, and I would like to come to the speedway party." I was a little punk. And he said, "Get out of my house! I will call the police, the Santa Monica police. Out of my house, you bum!" No, I'm just joking. He didn't say that. But he kicked me. Sonny Nutter kicked me out of his house. Very nice. I'll never forget that. So that was my only memory of Sonny Nutter, of him kicking me out of his house and telling me to leave. I forgive Sonny Nutter for that. I was just crashing the party. I was like a photo bomber, crashing party bomber. I was just having fun, and Sonny Nutter kicked me out of his party, and I'm like, "Okay, bye, Sonny," and I left very nicely. So that was funny. I always remember that. So Sonny Nutter also, he has a live-in girlfriend he met named Diana. He met her almost 25 years ago. Hopefully they're married or something. I don't know, but he met her at this Harley Davidson show, and he went ahead and hooked up with her. She must have been those Harley Davidson models or some very beautiful lady. And then he went ahead and either married her, is with her for the last 20, 25 years now. And he really loves her. He calls her his queen, and he's in love with Diana. So that's really cool. Sonny Nutter's a good guy, and he raised his son, and it's just an amazing guy. So anyways, thank you so much for watching the Sonny Nutter show. He's alive and well, and he goes to Speedway, and he's really cool. Sonny Nutter is just really an amazing guy. He's a good motorcycle rider. That guy could probably go out and win a D1 main today at 75 or something. We had, who was it? Billy Gray. He went out and won a match race at 71. So Sonny Nutter could probably go out and win a match race at 75. And then he could beat Billy Gray's match race championship oldest record as the oldest rider to win a match race at 71. So Sonny Nutter is a couple years older maybe than that now. So go ahead and get a match race at Industry Hills against one of the riders, and you will be the oldest match race champion ever, Sonny Nutter. So he has that foot injury, so I doubt that Sonny will do that. So Anyways, if you like this show, it's really fun. You know, I enjoyed talking about Sonny Nutter because he was a good writer and he was one of my heroes. And I really like Sonny a lot, even though he kicked me out of his party. I'll never forget you from that, Sonny. But I like Sonny Nutter. I was just a punk, so it doesn't matter. I was just a kid, you know, crashing parties, and that was me. I had fun. So anyway, if you like the show, go ahead and push the like button, and we're going to have some more fun. We have Flying Mike Faria. Oh, we got a bad ear now. I can't hear. We have Flying Mike Faria. Do you know Flying Mike Faria? He's coming on the show pretty soon, and we're going to talk Speedway with the legend Flying Mike. He was an amazing rider. Mike Faria, he was a really good rider, I don't know, 40, 50 years or whatever it was. He was one of the oldest living Speedway riders with Bobby Schwartz. Then he retired a year or two ago. But Mike Faria is just amazing talent. I mean, he was a two-time national champion that I know of. He raced in Europe. I mean, Flying Mike Faria will have a Speedway legend name forever in the sport. He was really good. And this old guy named Jerry, he was an old JP rider in 1982. He texts me every day and he sends me Mike Faria videos, and I've seen them all, but he loves Mike Faria. And I bet Jerry's going to watch that show with Mike Faria. And Jerry said, you know how Mike Faria got into Speedway? And I said, how? And he said, well, I guess it was his he worked as a motorcycle salesman or something like that, or worked in the shop. And Mike Faria came in. He was like a motocross rider or something like that. And then he said to Mike Faria, you should go to the Speedway motorcycle races. And Mike Faria's like, what's that? And then he said, you should go and ride the Speedway bike. And I guess Mike Faria hooked up, and then Mike Faria became the legend he became. And this Jerry guy, he went ahead and told Mike Faria about Speedway, about getting into Speedway. So that's really cool. And Mike Faria is going to be on the show in a couple days. He's in Las Vegas, and I talked to them today, and he's set in a couple days to be on this live stream show. So if you want to see Flying Mike Faria, he will be here in a couple days. So thank you so much for watching the show. The Sonny Nutter Show. Sliding Sonny Nutter was an amazing rider, and we appreciate that, and we appreciate you watching the show. Go ahead and subscribe if you like the channel, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Take care.